Welcome. Today we will be reading lesson 247 in the workbook and from the text, chapter 21, section 3, Faith, Belief, and Vision, paragraphs 1 through 7. And now for lesson 247. Without forgiveness, I will still be blind. Sin is the symbol of attack. Behold it anywhere, and I will suffer. For forgiveness is the only means whereby Christ's vision comes to me. Let me accept what his sight shows me as the simple truth, and I am healed completely. Brother, come and let me look on you. Your loveliness reflects my own. Your sinlessness is mine. You stand forgiven, and I stand with you. So would I look on everyone today. My brothers are your sons. Your fatherhood created them and gave them all to me as part of you, and my own self as well. Today I honor you through them, and thus I hope this day to recognize myself. Sin is an attack on the holiness of another, and seeing guilt in anyone or anything is but to attack oneself and thus to suffer. And it is only by the removal of sin and blame that vision is acquired. What is unforgiven only blocks vision. And without vision, one does not see. The Holy Spirit's teaching points the way to truth and one's healing. Let one look upon the holiness of the other, for in their innocence lies one's own. Everyone is a creation of love, and this is how one will look upon them this day. For in recognizing the other's loveliness, does one discover one's own true self and experience a world transformed, arising in peace and joy. And now for our text reading for today, from chapter 21, section 3, Faith, Belief, and Vision, paragraphs 1 through 7. All special relationships have sin as their goal, for they are bargains with reality, toward which the seeming union is adjusted. Forget not this: to bargain is to set a limit, and any brother with whom you have a limited relationship you hate. You may attempt to keep the bargain in the name of fairness, sometimes demanding payment of yourself, perhaps more often of the other. Thus, in the fairness, you attempt to ease the guilt that comes from the accepted purpose of the relationship. And that is why the Holy Spirit must change its purpose to make it useful to Him and harmless to you. If you accept this change, you have accepted the idea of making room for truth. The source of sin is gone. You may imagine that you still experience its effects, but it is not your purpose and you no longer want it. No one allows a purpose to be replaced while he desires it, for nothing is so cherished and protected as is a goal the mind accepts. This it will follow, grimly or happily, but always with faith, and with the persistence that faith inevitably brings. The power of faith is never recognized if it is placed in sin, but it is always recognized if it is placed in love. Why is it strange to you that faith can move mountains? This is indeed a little feat for such a power. For faith can keep the Son of God in chains as long as he believes he is in chains. And when he is released from them, it will be simply because he no longer believes in them, withdrawing faith that they can hold him and placing it in his freedom instead. It is impossible to place equal faith in opposite directions. What faith you give to sin, you take away from holiness. And what you offer holiness has been removed from sin. Faith and belief and vision are the means by which the goal of holiness is reached. Through them, the Holy Spirit leads you to the real world and away from all illusions where your faith was laid. This is His direction, the only one He ever sees. And when you wander, He reminds you there is but one. His faith and His belief and vision are all for you. And when you have accepted them completely instead of yours, you will have need of them no longer. For faith and vision and belief are meaningful only before the state of certainty is reached. In heaven they are unknown, yet heaven is reached through them. It is impossible that the Son of God lack faith, but He can choose where He would have it be. Faithlessness is not a lack of faith, but faith in nothing. Faith given to illusions does not lack power, for by it does the Son of God believe that He is powerless. Thus is He faithless to Himself, but strong in faith in His illusions about Himself. For faith, perception, and belief you made, as means for losing certainty and finding sin. This mad direction was your choice, and by your faith in what you chose, you made what you desired. The Holy Spirit has a use for all the means for sin by which you sought to find it. But as He uses them, they lead away from sin, because His purpose lies in the opposite direction. He sees the means you use, but not the purpose for which you made them. He would not take them from you, for He sees their value as a means for what He wills for you. You made perception that you might choose among your brothers and seek for sin with them. The Holy Spirit sees perception as a means to teach you that the vision of a holy relationship is all you want to see. Then will you give your faith to holiness, desiring and believing in it because of your desire. Faith and belief become attached to vision, as all the means that once served sin are redirected now toward holiness. For what you think is sin is limitation, and whom you try to limit to the body, you hate because you fear. In your refusal to forgive him, you would condemn him to the body, because the means for sin are dear to you. And so the body has your faith and your belief. But holiness would set your brother free, removing hatred by removing fear, not as a symptom, but at its source. We learn in this section that one way to make room for truth is by allowing the Holy Spirit to change the purpose of one's special relationships. For one truly hates these relationships because they are based on bargaining, limitations, guilt, and fear. And by turning them over to Spirit, one is admitting to oneself that the relationships are no longer cherished, as one would not give them over if they were truly valued. Everyone has faith in something. It is just a matter of what one's faith is in. For faith in illusions is faith in nothing. But this faith still has power. For faith in illusions has the power to imprison oneself. By placing one's faith in the holiness of the other is how the vision of the holy relationship is gained. And the gaining of this vision is the only real purpose that the Holy Spirit sees in perception.